We've got a lot of hands up, but I'd like to hear from Louise Bors, and then I'll bring in some members of the audience while we go on with the debate. Louise.
Thank you. Well, thank you to my two panellists for completely insulting and denigrating the 5.5 million people who did vote for UKIP last week. Yes, you did. You're patronising and sanctimonious.
Sorry?
The fact is...
Never been called that.
I'm sure it's only one of many things you've been called, Piers. Anyway, the fact is 5.5 million people did go out and vote for UKIP. Obviously, what the establishment cannot understand in any way is the disconnect that the normal people of this country feel with the establishment. There is a total disconnect. They look at Westminster, they look at the green leather, and they see nobody at all that represents them. Nobody who looks like them, nobody who talks like them, and so they've looked to something else. And that is why UKIP won last Thursday. The fact is, people want to see people they recognise. We want to see our representatives recognise. We want to recognise what they feel. We want to know that they're going through the kind of things that we go through on a regular basis. And that's what the political class is not doing in this country. And in fact, the political class and the establishment we are the symptom of how they have treated the people of this country. And the misinformation, like Piers has just given out, about the legalising handguns, banning gay marriage, utter nonsense. This is the misinformation.
Sorry, wait a minute.
Hang on. You've had your say.
Nigel Farage said he wanted to legalise handguns.
By the political establishment and the media in this country is incredible. What I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, you know, over the summer we will be putting together a domestic manifesto. This election has been fought on two things because it's a European election. So of course it's been fought on Europe. Of course it has. It's a European election.
Okay.
Over the summer we will have a full manifesto of domestic policies that all of you will be able to scrutinise, and so you should, and that is absolutely right.
Is it not true that Nigel Farage said he wanted to legalise handguns again in this country?
No, that's absolutely not true. What he was actually talking about was the fact that it was a disgrace that the Olympic gun team had to go outside of this country to train, and he said that was ludicrous. And I'm sorry, you're telling me that's not ludicrous?
No, that wasn't what he said.
Okay, let's leave...
It is what he said.
All right,
all right,
let's leave guns for a moment. Go to the man up there, the top left there, with spectacles and blonde hair. Yes, you, sir.
In response to Pierce's first comment that all the party leaders are similar, is this not in response to our voting system? Because we've got to have someone who compromises between the 51% and the 49%, whilst party leaders such as Farage, they're a leader for about 30%. I mean, I personally would look at moving abroad if Nigel Farage was our leader next year.
Okay. And you over there. Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I think that UKIP support will fall in the general election when people start to focus on issues which affect them. So I live in Hammersmith, and there's just been a stunning victory there from Labour in the council election because they focus on the local NHS. And I think that when people read UKIP's last manifesto, where they wanted to privatise large parts of the NHS, as a doctor who works in the NHS, I think the British public are going to reject that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that again is misinformation. Again, this is misinformation that's perpetuated by the establishment. We have never said we want to privatise the NHS. What we have said is we would like to streamline the NHS. There's 48% of people who work for the NHS who aren't clinically trained. Why aren't those resources targeted at doctors and nurses?
But we don't need to talk about...
I've got your manifesto in my pocket.
No, but the manifesto of 2010 is drivel, according to Nigel Farage.
Yeah.
I mean, he did actually say... I didn't read it, it was drivel, 486 pages of drivel.
This is honest.
Yeah, we needn't go into that. It's the new manifesto, I suppose, we should be concentrating on.
The thing that keeps getting me about it is that everyone's going around saying UKIP have done so well. But from what little I know about it, I don't think they've done that well. I mean, only 34% of the people voted.
Election is not doing well.
Well, you've got no MPs.
Yeah, but we have...
So you can't have done that one.
But we just won a national election going. We just won a national election.
Do you honestly think... Hang on, Louise. Do you honestly think... I listened when you spoke. Do you honestly think that 34% of those eligible to vote cared enough about what they were voting for to make a drastic change.
How
Because
did
for
the
me,
others-
they didn't.
The
because
others didn't mobilise their vote. At least we did. We won the election.
Oh, you won the election. You won some
Absolutely.
seats in Europe, in the European Parliament, that nobody really cares about.
Well, they
because
should
nobody
care about
cared
it.
about voting for it.
Well, they should care about it.
Well, if you make the same traction, if you have the same traction in a general election, then I think people will sit up and take notice. I mean, obviously the mainstream political parties are sitting up and take notice, but all you represent to me as UKIP is the best of a bad bunch. So if I'm somewhere and there was 4 really ugly girls, I'm thinking, well, she's not the worst, because that's all you are. That's all you are to us. That's all you are.
I have to say, the ignorance just espoused
Well,
by
that's
this
all you
gentleman
are,
here,
though. That's
he
all you are.
basically fulfils the mission, doesn't he, that footballers' brains are in their feet.
Well,
because he's absolutely proved that to me tonight.
well,
what
maybe
an
they do.
offensive thing to say, Mr. Barton.
OK, well, maybe
so,
they do. Maybe
you know,
they do. But all
I
I'm
really
saying
think
is
you ought to frame your argument a little differently.
UKIP have not made the progress that everyone's professing for
Winning
UKIP
a national
to make.
election is not making the progress.
34% of those eligible to vote voted. Where were the other 6? So if everyone
But they
cared
voted
generally on
for
a general
UKIP.
election,
But
because
they
nobody
voted for
cares,
UKIP.
it was a protest vote. That's all it was.
All right.
I call
Don't
it
get too carried away
democracy.
with yourselves.
I call it democracy,
No,
Mr.
all
Barton.
I call it is the Lib Dems are really bad at the minute, as everyone knows. I mean, I've got more chance of winning a general election than the Lib Dems or Nick Clegg. And the other parties have failed to perform. So UKIP come in.
That's what democracy
I'll
is.
give you a bit of credit for
That's
that.
what
But that's about
democracy
where
is.
OK, the man in the
That's what
spectacles in the middle
democracy
there.
is.
Whilst I agree with the general premise of what Joey is saying, not the Sixers' comments,